1996 could well be remembered as the year of the rookie. In last weekend's Australian Grand Prix, a sensational Formula One debut by Jacques Villeneuve stood the Formula One establishment on its head. Rookie Craig Lowndes has made an equally stunning first impression in the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship, but recently his youthful exuberance has given way to experience. At Bathurst 3 weeks ago, the young Victorian lost his championship lead in spectacular style when a misjudged passing move on Wayne Gardner earned him a $1,000 fine and some valuable thinking time. The Bathurst round proved equally heart-stopping for Glenn Seaton, whose narrow escape from this K9 kamikaze was followed by a high-speed tyre failure. Not surprisingly, Glenn found his mountain climb a little breathtaking. But it was the experienced hands of top place getters Bow, Johnson and Brock who delivered a stinging response to the kid's early season onslaught. Brock outshone his younger teammate all weekend, while the Shell FAI team's crushing 1-2 result showed that touring car's old guard is far from surrender. Today, the 7 Network welcomes you to Symmons Plains Raceway in beautiful Tasmania for round 4 of Australia's V8 Civil War. The long straights of the 2.4-kilometre track place a premium on horsepower, while its trio of tight corners also makes it one of the country's toughest on brakes. Out on the plains, only the strongest survive. We'll also take a look at the 2 wheeling stars of the Shell Superbike Series and take time out for a quick chat with Formula One champ Alan Jones. All that and much more to come when the fire-breathing Falcons and Commodores clash in today's V8 grudge match.
Hello Australia, I'm Andy Raymond and welcome to round number 4 in the 1996 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. This year's title chase has seen both V8 manufacturers in the winner's circle. It is 2-1 to Holden. The defending series champion is John Bow, a last-up winner and victor here in the corresponding round last year. His consistency puts the Shell FAI Falcon on top of the points ladder. It's tight. There's a narrow gap to Lowndes, Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit EF as third, with veterans Dick Johnson and Peter Brock also in the 5. This tight, uncompromising 2.4-kilometre track really is conducive to very, very close and very, very fast action. Can Lowndes do it again? Mark Osler and Bradley Jones, it'd be nice if he erased the bad memories he has from Bathurst.
It certainly would, Andy Raymond, and a guy joining us today, Brad Jones. 3 Commodores on the front 3 positions of the grid. It's been a while since that's happened. Why do you think they were so strong in the wet?
Well, I think it's because of the downforce they get on the rear wing in the wet. It's a very effective spoiler and obviously helps them put the power down.
Well, talking about wet conditions, it was very wet here in qualifying, as Andy said earlier on. Mark Scaife, of course, we took race cam inside the Team Gibson Commodore, slid off. You could see Lowndes going off into the sound as well, and Scaife almost joined him at the same time. Very, very slippery into that turn 1. And Lowndes, of course, was well and truly bunkered there. Took a long time to get him out, but he eventually wanted to take pole position. Dickie Johnson, too, one of many to get caught out by the tricky conditions, slipping into the sand. And Larry Perkins, a real tank slapper here, shows quite graphically how difficult it was in very difficult conditions. Well, the cars are on the grid for Heat 1 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Let's have a look at the grid.
And what a star-studded field it is. Craig Lowndes holds pole position, and it's an all-mobile HRT front row. Peter Brock, position number 2. Row 2, the Coca-Cola Commodore VR of Wayne Gardner, and the Ford Credit Falcon EF of Glenn Seaton.
Row 3 is John Bow in the Shell FAI Falcon with Larry Perkins in the Castrol Commodore alongside. Row 4, the Gibson Seeger Commodore with Mark Scaife on board, and Dick Johnson in the second Shell FAI Ford.
Row number 5, Pack Leader Racing's Alan Jones with Russell Ingall in one of the Castrol Commodores. Row number 6 is Neil Crompton and Tony Longhurst.
Row number 7, the second of the Pack Leader Falcons with Paul Romano at the wheel. Max Dumsney making his Shell debut this weekend too. Row 8, Mark Larkham in the Mitre 10 Ford and Stephen Richards in the Valvoline Cummins VR.
Row number 9 has Scotty Taylor and Mike Conway sharing. And row number 10, Steve Ellery and Greg Crick.
5 seconds away from the start of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship battle in Tasmania. Craig Lowndes and Peter Brock on the front row of the grid. Engines bouncing off the rev limiters. The green light goes and Lowndes gets a blinder from pole position. Leaves Brock at his as Wayne Gardner comes on the charge too. He's up alongside Brock as they come into turn one. It's side by side out of there. Great start from the Shell Ford too. A huge pack of V8s trying to fit through. Mark Larkham gets tapped halfway around, manages to survive, gets on the grass as they head down the back straight for the first time. And we've had a drama on the start line. Dick Johnson backing up pit lane. He got caught up in that melee too, but Lowndes in control. Brock in second, Gardner in third. There's Bow up in fourth and the first of the Castrol Commodores.
A great start from Craig Lowndes.
Look at this. Maximum attack from our reigning champion, John Bow. Sneaks up the inside of Wayne Gardner, puts some real pressure on there, and Larry Perkins, I think it is, follows him through.
Bow started position number 5 from the start and really benefited from the jump that Craig Lowndes gave, as too did Gardner. You can see Seaton lagging a little bit, was behind Peter Brock, and the inside line really capitalised. There is the master, Brock, Bow right on the hammer. Holden v Ford.
So the pressure being applied through Coca-Cola corner that time. 3 wide under brakes as they shuffle position on this critical opening lap. It's Lowndes, Brock, Bow, Gardner, Perkins, Seaton, Scaife, Ingle, Crompton as they come down toward Brambles Hampton for the second time. Bow just alongside Brock. There may have been contact there. Maximum braking from 220 kilometres an hour right down to about 50. Really does give the front stoppers a serve. Just such hectic action in this opening lap, Brad.
It is, and Bow will be giving everything he's got to get by Brock. With the Bridgestone tyres that Peter's running, it usually takes him about 3 laps to get the heat right into them to get maximum adhesion. But with the Dunlop, it's only a lap. So as you can see in through the turns here, Bow is all over Brock, but he needs to push on. And it really is a lottery situation here with tyres this weekend. Of course, they had to qualify in those treacherous conditions yesterday on wet weather tyres. They had to pick their 2 sets of slicks or their 8 tyres just by rule of thumb, by judgment and good calculation. So we really don't know how this situation is going to work out over these 321 lappers. Brock, Bow right behind him down toward Brambles on the back straight.
John Bow with a brand new engine in the Shell FAI Falcon for this weekend at Symmons Plains. He certainly looks to have the right amount of horses, and he's really closed up on the back end of Brock. In the meantime, Craig Lowndes is establishing nice lead out front. It is HRT 1 and 2.
Well, the kid's really done at that time, a 54.94 on his first flying lap. He won the outright, well, the fastest qualifying time last year, and the driver was a 54.04. So Lowndes really on it. From the moment that green light went, didn't he get a blinder of a start? Fantastic start. It almost looked like Brock had the car in third gear rather than first, because he hesitated and he went again. So I'd say maybe the wrong gear, or possibly what he's done is dump the clutch a bit hard and the car's just bogged down.
You saw a puff of smoke there as the brakes locked on the Coca-Cola number 4 car of Wayne Gardner, and right up alongside it looks to be Larry Perkins in the Castrol entry. They head down towards a very tricky hairpin. We saw plenty of moments there in a rain-affected qualifying session yesterday afternoon.
Take race cam with Larry Perkins in the Castrol Commodore. As he gets up behind Wayne Gardner on this back straight, building up 6th gear, 245 kilometres an hour. Has a look up the inside. Gardner gets wide. It's very, very close. As Larry just squeezes, you'll see there may have been contact there under brakes. Gardner comes back on the attack. He's halfway into the side of the Castrol Commodore, and Perkins heads off into the scrub. Well, boy, oh boy, wasn't that close, ferocious stuff under brakes. It went on for a long, long time. Gardner wasn't going to back off, and Perkins paid the penalty. Larry Perkins is, in fact, the second driver to go off down at the end of the long straight. Glenn Seaton only a lap ago did it all by himself. So Gardner lives to survive for another day, and now he's got Scaife coming at him. Larry was the last time around. Now Scaife in the Sega Team Gibson Motorsport Commodore. As he comes through the hairpin, looks for a quick run out of here. And I guess it really is just a case of a couple of drag races around this track, Brad. It's very true. The horsepower is a major player here, and as we see, Larry had plenty. It'll be interesting to see how Scaife goes here against the WGR car. Let me get race cam. Sega holds race cam with Mark Scaife as he comes under maximum attack, back, grabs another gear, puts a wheel up on the inside, and Gardner has been hit again. Wayne just waved at the race cam. Oh, look at the damage on the front of these cars. That went on for a long, long time. Gardner and Scaife really locked up. All sorts of drama there.
and Wayne Gardner will be spitting chips.
And we thought Frank Bruno Mike Tyson was going to be the major stink of today.
Oh, action on action. That was a major attack. Scaife charging up the inside. Gardner was not going to give in. Let's look at that on race cam. Scaife just grabs another gear. He's right over on the ripple tips. Bang! Gardner's coming around, and Scaife's right into the side of him. Plenty of damage to the front spoiler. Gardner waves at him to say, what the hell's going on? Fiberglass going everywhere. Scaife and Gardner both in the pits. Goodness me.
Well, a very interesting couple of laps. There you can see the two cars involved in the altercation.
Well, just
a bit of work there.
Shows how serious these guys are playing. Scaife just was on maximum attack mode there. Wasn't going to back off. Went very, very deep under brakes.
Tell you what, that leaves Lowndes, Brock and Bow out in the clear. 5 of the major players in Australian V8 touring car racing have already experienced problems. I'm talking of Johnson, Perkins, Gardner, Scaife and Seaton.
Well, Gardner's got back into the race, so he's coming back out of pit lane. So the order now is Lowndes. He's opened up a 4.7 second gap on Brock, with Bow in third. Russell Ingall now moves up to fourth. Crompton in the second, Cade Commodore in fifth, and Alan Jones in the first of the pack leader Falcons. Strong showing for them in sixth position. So really mixed up. Larry Perkins back into the battle as well after his little crash with Gardner. So Gardner really has been in the wars at Symmons Place in these opening laps of this first heat. 6 laps down in this 21 lapper.
There's Gardner closing in on Ingall. Alan Jones not too far in arrears. And Alan Jones, Brad, for the first time in 1996 and first time with pack leader racing, he's on the brand new Bridgestones, the brand new batch. They've done a lot of testing at Lakeside since the last round of Bathurst, and it's paying dividends.
Well, tyres are such an important part of these cars, and as you can see, as you said, and he's certainly running a lot better this weekend than he has for a long time. Big ask, new team, trying to make everything work properly and be on the pace. But this weekend he seems to be just that little closer. Oh, Russell Ingall in trouble there.
And Neil Crompton takes advantage, ducks up the inside. Alan Jones tries to go through with the Cade Commodore as well. Just gets his door closed there. So Ingall survives. Jones right behind him now in the pack leader Ford.
Very nice save there by Ingall. Had just had that back wheel locked up coming in, bit of a speedway slide into the corner, and but enough for Crompton to get by and put a few feet in between them.
So he moves up a position. This is the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th behind Lowndes, Brock and Bow in 1st, 2nd and 3rd. And look at Jones coming under, Russell Ingall coming under increasing pressure from Jones as they come over the hump back toward turn 1. Jones really pumped up here, trying to knock these pack leader cars into shape. Very competitive environment. And he's looking very quick here as he comes up behind Ingall in the Castrol Commodore.
Larry Perkins part of this equation at the moment. Perkins has just visited the pits, so the number 11 Castrol car is a lap or so down. Jones, a very aggressive driver.
And I guess, Brad, down at this hairpin, because it's so punishing on the brakes, toward the end of these heats when the things are getting a bit tired, we always seem to see these cars bumping into each other under maximum braking.
Well, and the other thing is, of course, it's getting towards the end of the race, but the fuel load's getting a little bit lighter. They might be adjusting the bias on the brakes just to get the car teetering on maximum stopping power. There we've lost, is that Romano?
Yeah, teammate Romano in 2:01. Just getting a little bit out of shape through brambles there. Manages to gather it up, get back in the race. So Larry Perkins lapped in amongst this traffic.
Here we see Alan Jones, who's got by Ingall at the back of the straight there, and he's sailing off after Crompton now.
So Jones is on a real charge. He's up to 5th position now.
Crompton has been the winner of this battle. He's got Perkins riding shotgun. Craig Lowndes, car number 15, Mobile HRT.
Well, he's not only the fastest man on the circuit today, he's also just set a new lap record of 54.58, previously held by John Bow last year of 54.77. So Lowndes, 2/10 under the lap record, absolutely flying. But Brock is coming right back at him. 2.4 seconds the gap now. So it's Brock chasing after Lowndes. We've got Bow in 3rd, Neil Crompton up to 4th, and Alan Jones in the pack leader Racing Falcon in 5th position. Don't go away, there's plenty happening at the Plains. Greg Crick and Glenn Seaton round the outside. Seaton must have had an absolute shocker in that opening lap. He was 4th off the grid, and he's coming his way back into the top 10.
And Glenn Seaton, an excursion off into the sand on about lap number 2. He has moved up to occupy position number 9 on the track.
So there's Greg Crick, Tasmanian, leading privateer. Boy, this guy has shown a lot of impressive speed.
That he has at Bathurst. Once again, he was awarded the Leading Privateer Award and really gave some of the top running teams, the professional teams, a run for their money. Alcare Air Conditioning is the sponsor.
Ex-Larry Perkins Commodore, upgraded to VR specification this year. Looks fabulous in its Alcare air conditioning colours. And Crick really has proved this year that the gap between the level 2 and the level 1 professional teams is closing all the time. He's currently running in 10th position, just behind Glenn Seaton, who's trying to continue charging through the pack. 11 laps down, this 21 lapper. Peter Brock currently running in 2nd position. Qualified 2nd yesterday. Closed the gap down to Lowndes there, down to about 2.4 seconds, but I believe Lowndes was having a bit of trouble through traffic on that lap. Lowndes has now opened it up to 4.2. So Brock apparently powerless to match the speed of his younger teammate in this opening 12 laps.
Well, Brock's actually the last couple of races has been able to match Craig blow for blow and actually, in fact, get on top of him. But I think this weekend Craig's flexing his muscles a little bit. He's certainly doing the job. He's the only one that's doing 54s consistently, and certainly has the wood over Brock at the moment. Probably not quite so sharp through the traffic, but certainly got the pace.
That begs for me to ask the question, team cars, but are they identical cars, Brad?
Well, I think you'll find that Craig's car's got a few more experimental bits on it this week, and I think the engine's probably slightly different, which gives him a bit more grunt.
Third place driver on the track, the defending series champion, John Bowe, the first of the forwards in this heat number 1 of round number 4 in this year's title chase.
It's just amazing, Brad, isn't it, the way the cream continually rises to the surface. There's the guys battling for top 3 or 4 positions in the championship. Lowndes, Brock, Bowe, they're still running at the front of this battle.
Well, that's true. They're all championship contenders, and except for Glenn, who unfortunately had a bit of a misdemeanor earlier on in the race. They're certainly all fighting for the lead of the race. It's just a little bit of a pity that they've strung out to the degree they have at the moment.
Well, we did lose Larry Perkins very early on. Then we lost Scaife and Gardner. Gardner has rejoined, as to has Perkins, but it's really shuffled the pack around a fair bit. But now it's Lowndes still in control. Here's 3:01, and it's Alan Jones in 5th position. So it's Lowndes, Brock, some 4.7 seconds. Then there's Bowe, Neil Crompton, Alan Jones. Here he is in 5th position. Jones, the pack leader forward. A few teething problems with the cars in these opening laps, but it's been a very, very difficult season in which to debut a touring car team. Season very, very tight. A lot of races crammed in together. They haven't had a lot of time for development, so they really have been behind the 8 ball, but they're fighting back pretty strongly here at Symmons Plains.
That they are, and yeah, time has been the major problem in the pack leader camp. Alan Jones currently 5th on the racetrack. And Paul Romano, as we saw earlier, experiencing a few problems.
Well, good run here from Neil Crompton. Matt Gardner, we saw in the wars earlier on, but Crompton managing to stay out of that panel punch-up. He's running in 4th position.
Keeping in mind, he did start from position number 11 on the track. There has been a huge rate of attrition, but also some very smart and quick driving on the part of Neil Crompton. Wasn't all that happy, I must admit, going into the first race today. He's very harsh on himself and wasn't impressed by his performance in qualifying yesterday. This will no doubt leave Neil with a smile on his face.
We're certainly looking for some consistency in the championship, and this may help moving up the ladder. We take race cam with Glenn Seaton, or the Ford Credit Falcon, working his way back through the field. He's still in 9th position. He's got Stephen Richards, the next guy ahead of him. Stephen Richards doing a fabulous job running up in 8th position. There's Stephen Richards there, the Valvoline Cummins car. So Seaton really on the attack. He's caught him. Let's see if he can do anything about it as they come through the hairpin. Lap traffic there. Larry Perkins in the Castrol Commodore. This will be an interesting comparison of horsepower in a straight line, I guess, Bradley, because they all say that Larry is one of the most powerful cars in the field, but Seaton's really making big inroads here.
Well, Glenn's never really been known for having more horsepower than anyone else on the circuit, and I think Larry's probably just braking there a little bit early out of courtesy to let Glenn get on with his battle.
So Seaton, Larry very courteous there as Seaton gets his way through. He's got the eyes on Steve Richards, very fast privateer up in front of him.
And just in front of Richards in the Valvoline entry, we've got the 2 Castrol cars of Ingle and Longhurst. There you can see Stephen Richards, and right behind us Seaton.
Well, young Steve is in fact the top place privateer now, Andy. He's in front of Crick, so he's in 8th, Crick's in 10th, so Stephen Richards baptism of fire, first year in 5-litre racing. Gary Rogers Motorsport, they found it pretty tough, but gee, they put in some good performances already, and here's Seaton right up behind him. Couldn't get a bit of paper between the bumper bars of the two cars, but Seaton Richards got a very good exit out of that corner, giving Seaton a lot of work to do in a straight line if he's going to catch him. Let's see if he has a go under brakes. 7 Sport Race Cam takes you inside with Glenn Seaton. He ducks down the inside, right alongside the Valvoline Commodore, and takes another position back.
Smart racing from both drivers there. Stephen Richards, that's some great advertising for Valvoline and Cummins. As we look out the back of the Ford Credit Falcon EF of Glenn Seaton, under brakes into the left-hander. And
Seaton now up to 8th position.
Great exit speed from that corner from Glenn Seaton. The hammer is down as they race up towards the hairpin.
Oh, look at this. Neil Crompton under fire from Alan Jones. You've seen the pack leader Ford closing in slowly. They're side by side as they come through this 240k sweeper. Crompton on the inside, Jones on the outside. Jones probably well positioned for this braking manoeuvre. He's got lap traffic, ducks down the inside of Scotty Taylor, continues his braking move, and up the inside of Crompton. Well, late braking from Alan Jones, but fortunately no body contact that time.
There's more smoke there than an Indian hunting party.
Jones is really on a charge here. That's 4th position now. He's only got Bow, Brock and Lowndes ahead of him. Very competitive, the most competitive run, in fact, from the pack leader racing team this weekend. Ross and Jim Stone working very hard on all development phases of the car, from the Bridgestone tyres to the brakes to engine development. They've been working absolutely flat out in between races to try and make some progress, and it looks like the results may be paying off here.
They had problems earlier in the year, Mark, with brakes, and it got to the point where they weren't sure if they'd even contest the Bathurst round because the place is so scary, and you really need the big anchors there. But they really have done a lot of testing, and it's come through. One guy who's obviously been doing his homework along with the rest of the Mobile HR team is the guy on screen now. He's your current race leader, Craig Lowndes, car number 15.
19 laps down in this 21 lapper. He's opened it up 4.8 seconds, just holding it about 5 seconds between himself and Peter Brock in 2nd position. But another crushing display of speed from Lowndes. He had a terrible run at Bathurst with that collision with Gardner. He got served up pretty badly at the Australian Grand Prix meeting at Albert Park last weekend. But he really has resumed this crushing form that he showed in those opening 2 rounds. Winner at Eastern Creek, the winner at Sandown. He was 9th at Bathurst, 115 points. Currently 2nd in the championship behind John Bow on 132. So this is exactly the situation Lowndes would have wanted to beef up that point score and maybe grab back the lead of the championship this afternoon.
Lowndes and Brock are circulating around a second faster than their nearest competitors, so it's quite a powerful display by them, and one wonders just who's going to get near them. They're certainly just driving away from John Bow.
Last lap for Craig Lowndes, 2.41 kilometres to go. Peter Brock in 2nd position. Bow, gee, some 4.5 seconds behind Brock, so the field has become quite spaced out at the front. Brock currently running in 5th position in the championship with 70 points to Lowndes 115, so he's still in this with a good show. But if Lowndes continues to score big buckets of points, he'll get 20 from this round, from this race. And if he keeps scoring points like that, it's going to look pretty menacing for the championship. Under brakes for Coca-Cola Corner for the final time. Clean run, got out the front, won the first corner and just walked away from the pack. Craig Lowndes comes back toward the start-finish line to take victory in Heat 1 of the 96 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship, Symmons Plains Raceway. Crushing victory there to the youngster. 21-year-old Lowndes has got his championship right back on track. Brock in 2nd position, and I imagine John Bow will come home 3rd.
Let's have a look at the Shell race score. Craig Lowndes, winner of heat number 1. 2nd place was teammate Peter Brock. The first of the Fords in 3rd was John Bow. Alan Jones, pack leader racing in 4th. Rounding out your 5, Neil Crompton.
Russell Ingall in 6th. Glenn Seaton came through in the Ford Credit Falcon for 7th. Tony Longhurst in 8th. Stephen Richards, great run down the Valvoline car in 9th. And Greg Crick, the 2nd of the privateers, in the Alcare Commodore.